Good, happy Wednesday evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Massachusetts man pleads guilty to human trafficking in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
The victim was in court today, but she told the county attorney's office she wanted two things. She never wanted to have any contact with Abraham Chacon again, and she wanted him to do some time, both of which the judge ordered. Prior to this morning's hearing, Abraham Chacon had no criminal record. Now he is a convicted felon. Chacon was arrested back on September 30th of last year by Nashua police. Responding to an ad, an officer made contact with the victim who told them about Chacon. Officers found him in a parking lot at a Nashua motel. At the time, he had $1,400 in his wallet, and officers found fentanyl in his socks. The prosecution outlining for the court what the victim said happened.
He advised that the defendant forces her to perform sex acts for money by controlling her access to heroin. She indicated that he had made threats in the past with respect to her family. She indicated she did not keep any of the money.
Chacon also received a suspended 1 to 2 year sentence on the possession charge. He will also have to register as a sex offender when he is released. Reporting live in Nashua, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report from Ray Brewer from WMUR. Kevin Spacey sexual assaulted my son, former news anchor says. Let's take a listen to this video from WCVB Boston.
First, I just want to let you know that I'm here not as a journalist today, but as a mom. In July 2016, actor Kevin Spacey has sexually assaulted my son. It happened late night inside the Club Car Restaurant and Bar on Nantucket Island. The victim, my son, was a starstruck, straight, 18-year-old young man who had no idea that the famous actor was an alleged sexual predator or that he was about to become his next victim.
Okay, there you go on that video. Convicted killer Anthony Sanborn free after reaching deal with prosecutors. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 in Maine. And there you go on that video. And now let's take a look at your U.S. markets and see how your markets closed for this Wednesday evening and how they did for the day. And here's a look at those markets right now. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average went up, closed in the green, and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 Index closed in the green and went up. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the green and went up. Oil closed in the red and went down. US 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Banks post 4-day losing streak, but S&P 500, Dow, and Nasdaq record closing highs. Bank shares fell broadly on Wednesday, amid growing concerns that the recent Republican electoral losses could hinder the party's push to reform U.S. tax code. They also have been pressured by flattening yield curve. The moment EMT, who lost family in church shooting, realized she was on the way there. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
Now to new developments in that tragic church shooting in Texas. The Pentagon is investigating as we learn even more warning signs were missed. The gunman escaping from a mental health facility in 2012. And our senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington with more. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. The missed signals are mounting as members of Congress are demanding answers as to how this killer was able to buy that murder weapon. And there's worry that there might be many more cases like it. And more details are emerging about Kevin Dillon's past. The more surprising it is that he was allowed to buy those guns in the first place. A newly released police report shows Devin Kelly escaping from a New Mexico mental health facility in June of 2012, temporarily committed, thought to be a danger to himself and others. The police report noting Kelly had been caught sneaking firearms onto Holloman Air Force Base and was attempting to carry out death threats made on his military chain of command.
There are enormous problems with the background check system.
The airman's struggle with mental health came as he was facing a court-martial for threatening his wife with a loaded gun and viciously beating her and his infant stepson. He served a year in prison after being convicted of domestic abuse.
When you only have one instance since 2007 of a domestic violence conviction being reported by the military, there's a problem.
That conviction should have barred him from being able to purchase guns, but the Air Force never forwarded the information to the FBI, which does gun background checks.
This is clearly a loophole that is a problem.
The Defense Department Inspector General is also going to be looking across the department to make sure that everything is checked and that all procedures are clarified.
This morning, the FBI facing a major roadblock. They can't open the killer's encrypted smartphone, which could hold key evidence.
I can assure you that we're working very hard to get into the phone, and that will continue until we find an answer. I don't know how long that's going to be quite honest with you.
But the investigation won't be enough to heal the hearts of the relatives of the 26 killed here in Sullivan Springs, Texas. Charlie O telling our Matt Gutman she last saw her 16-year-old daughter Haley when she dropped her off at the church.
It's just God. It's the only thing I keep telling myself. Not to try to stay strong.
That encrypted phone could contain critical clues in cases like this. Time is of the essence, Michael, with potential evidence sitting right there, with police unable to access it. All right, thank you, Pierre.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with another newscast. Good night, everyone. Bye.